have a look at PayPal stock. Today it's down, looks like, at that support level that we were watching, which is 227, 228. So getting a little bit oversold here, to be honest. If you look at the last 2 weeks of price action, look at it every single day, it has been closing negative, and they have earnings coming up 8th of November. So I do expect some sort of a relief bounce off of these levels, because it has acted as a support back here in December, February, March, and even here late March as well. So ever since, we are testing this level once again here in November. So if we pull up the moving averages for this stock, it's way below it, and looks like we are about to get this when 50-day moving average crosses below 200-day moving average. It's called death cross. So that means, well, it may not quickly bounce back up to these highs and start going above all-time highs. That means maybe it's gonna chop around here. It's gonna make some pops, and personally for me, from here, just like we discussed on other videos, if it's gonna pop, I will be watching 240 as a resistance, and then below that I will be watching 253 as a next level of resistance. So, and I do think that even after earnings, if it doesn't get back above this 240, that means it's still in a downtrend. And from its all-time highs, if we measure this drop, so it looks like it's a decent drop from here now. So let's take a look at from 310 all the way till this 227, 228. That's about 26% discount. So if it's a lot of people who have been asking me, like, if you don't know about like how to analyze the basic support resistance levels, one way to look at it is just look at the all-time highs of a stock and just measure just how much it's down, and decide, hey, is it good discount enough? 20%, 25%, what am I looking at? So that's one way to look at. And this is a weekly chart. On a weekly chart, you can clearly see it's the momentum has been to the downside as well. And on a monthly chart, look at it. So we have November just started, and if you look back, I don't see it. Okay, there was a time when it was down 3 months in a row. It was negative, but it wasn't selling off like this. But for the past 2 years now, it has only had 2 months of negative price action, and then popped 2 months of a pullback, pops, and now we are November. So let's say in November, is it gonna follow this pattern that it has been doing for the past 2 years? So that's what I'm watching. And also option activity today. So it's still early. It's been maybe 2.5 hours since market opened. If you look at the calls, 69,000 calls, 20,000 puts, not a whole lot of volume because half a day ahead still. And so far looks like PayPal it's only down like 0.7%. At one point it was down a little bit more. But if you look at the calls and puts, they're all well, for the most part short term. So November 19th, 240 call, 290 call, even 400 all calls here. But these are spreads. Next year, March 280 call, and I'm seeing November 237 50s. There are some puts as well. November 260 put, 200 all put for 2024. I think it's someone who's selling those premiums. But just by looking at these, I can say that yes, slightly bullish going into next year. Maybe I want to say there are a lot of like 280, 300, even 400 calls, but they're all for next year, 280s. So yeah, today people are playing it with lower volume, but it's a long term, all right? So short term option market, not much happening, and I do think that we might get some sort of a relief bounce here, because on a daily, if you look at it, it hasn't sold maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I go back here before reporting earnings here, it was having a pretty decent days of negative activity, and then it dipped a little bit more before resuming and before going higher. So I do think that, yeah, it can definitely chop around these 227, 235 levels, 230, 235, 240 even. It can chop around here even after earnings, and then I would be looking for this 240 break as a maybe trend shift. So far, momentum still to the downside, and I did have a trend line that drawn right here. I think I removed it, but if we take a look at it right here, so that's the pretty much that's the trend line I'm watching. So for this PayPal to get above, to possibly break this downtrend. At the moment, yes, stock is in a downtrend, and let's see what they report. So I'm personally don't have any position. I'm not trading it with options. I'm not trading it with shares. So it's on the sidelines watching it, and I think that's a good decent risk reward for people who may be trying to trade it with shares. So thanks for watching. I will